I'm Ian and I'm pro-American Dream.
I'm Angelina and I'm con for the American Dream.
The reason why I'm pro for the American Dream is because the American Dream is easily achievable for every American citizen. They can get their education through our education system, and they can make just as much money as they want to go, depending upon what degrees you have.
I'm con for the American Dream because if you look at statistics, they all show that in America, 25% of kids live in poverty. And the American Dream is really just something that we all want for our kids as well as for ourselves. So if we were to live in a white picket fence house, we'd want the same for our kids. But given the shape of the country we're in now, it's really impossible to get there.
But the thing is, the American Dream is achievable through our education, and every child is required to go to school up through high school. And if the child does want to achieve the American Dream, it takes a lot more work than it did previously. And what the work is that you have to actually go to college, get a degree or multiple degrees, depending upon what level of money you want to make, or what level of stature you want to hold in the world.
For kids living in poverty, it's really hard for them to get even to high school. Given the independence of their parents and what they have to work with, minimum wage or whatever, they're still going to have to get really good grades. It's a hard thing to do, plus get into a college that's accepted them, and a student loan, which is, you have to be tolerated by the government and then pay it back later. It's really hard for anybody to get to the American Dream. And it doesn't matter how bad you want it, because sometimes people just they don't get to go to college. Not everybody's blessed to go there.
But the American Dream is not about every single person getting there. It's about those who have the willingness or the work ethic to get there. It's not an easy ride, as it was maybe 40 years ago, 40, 50 years ago, during the 1950s. Well, an easy ride for certain types of people. But you see, back then the American dollar was worth a lot more, and college was quite cheap. You could enter the military and then get out in about 3 or 4 years, and then since the GI Bill was newly passed, you could get a full scholarship, which is also an alternative still today for those Americans that do live in poverty and do not want to have that student loan. The GI Bill is still in place. You can go to either one of the two. You can go to Annapolis, or you can go to West Point, which are two very, very prestigious schools. It's very hard to get into them, and you can get an education and work anywhere you want from those schools.
The American education system is really flawed right now due to the fact that the American dollar isn't as much as it used to be, and cuts have been made to education specifically that lowers the cost of all scholarships and doesn't really support students as much as it used to. Basically, in order to achieve the American Dream, we really have to fix our economy first, and that's really hard to do by itself. So,
as he said, the American dollar is weak, and the American economy and the education system do need some fixing. I agree with his points there. But the American Dream is still achievable for those who will work hard enough. You may not be able to afford the four-year colleges right away, but you will be able to afford the community colleges. And for those students that want to go to those community colleges for 2 to 4 years and get that degree, can then move on to a prestigious university while having still those credits, which means that they will be able to enter as a junior or senior and then get a 4-year degree from a prestigious university such as Berkeley or Cal Poly, any of those universities, depending on what you want to enter in. And then you'll be able to get that degree for cheaper. So the American Dream is achievable for those who wish to work. It is not for free. We do not have a communist society.
And that concludes our debate.